How to recognize and overcome the fear of the future. The fear of the future is one of the most common experiences that affect us in daily life. It may stem from uncertainty, lack of control, or worry about what the coming days will bring. The Bible, however, repeatedly reminds us that God is with us, knows our path, and leads us toward the good, even if we don't see it ourselves. Jesus said, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 34. These words encourage us to focus on the present moment and trust in God, who takes care of every aspect of our lives. In the book of Isaiah, God says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you." Book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. His promise reminds us that we do not have to struggle with fear alone. God is always with us. Psychology indicates that the fear of the future often arises from uncertainty and lack of control. Practices such as acceptance, mindfulness, and positive thinking can help deal with this feeling. However, the greatest strength in overcoming fear is faith and trust that God has a good plan for us. How to overcome the fear of the future? First, entrust your worries to God in prayer. In the letter to the Philippians, Paul wrote, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 6. Prayer helps us give control to God and trust His guidance. Secondly, remind yourself of God's promises. In the letter to the Romans, Paul writes, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." Letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. Remembering God's faithfulness in the past builds hope for the future. Thirdly, focus on the present moment. Jesus said, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 26. Living in the here and now allows us to notice God's care in everyday matters. Fourthly, practice gratitude. Paul writes in the first letter to the Thessalonians, "Give thanks in all circumstances." First letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 18. Gratitude for what we have today allows us to stop worrying about what we do not have yet. Fifthly, be steadfast in faith. In Proverbs, we read, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Steadfastness in faith reminds us that even in the face of uncertainty, we can be calm, knowing that God directs our lives. Fear of the future is natural, but it does not have to paralyze us. Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27. Trusting His guidance allows us to find peace and courage to look to the future with hope. Thank you for the time we've shared. May God bless you, your friend.